Ladies and gentlemen, Siouxland United FC would like to welcome you here to tonight's live broadcast coming to you live from Bishop Heelan Memorial Field on this sunny summer afternoon for tonight's special match. The stage is set for the semifinals between the Minnesota Blizzard and your Siouxland United Outlaws. Your Outlaws are beginning to face off here east to west as we begin tonight's starting lineups. As always, my name is JD Amaro. Sitting right next to me is the one and only Alex Schuler. Alex, how you feeling for tonight's match?
Obviously, a big match tonight with it being the first round of the playoffs here for your Siouxland United Outlaws. Always big to have a home game to start, and we'll get through these starting lineups very quickly here as the match is about to kick off. As you said, the Outlaws attacking east to west, so they'll be facing into the sun, but shouldn't be too much of an issue tonight. So for your Outlaws, you got Ferreira in net, a backline of Kushida, Sasaki, Abdallah, and Saikaguchi. In the midfield, you got Myler, Spencer, Mapome, and Ikagami. And up top, you got Sakurai and Urakami leading the line for Coach Trent's familiar formation, you could say. And
Definitely.
then you have, for your Minnesota Blizzard, starting today, you have Burgos and net. In front of him, you have number 2, Hermanson, number 3, Lemoyne, number 5, Snyder, number 8, Lagendam, number 10, Esteban, number 14, DeGrado, number 16, Knox, number 18, Lockyer, number 19, Zick, and number 23, McGoey. And kind of to circle back here in the coaching matchup, both these teams faced off very recently as well. Coach Alex Trent leads your Siouxland United Outlaws, and Forrest Randall leads the Blizzard in this matchup tonight. So should be a good one on tap, JD. How are you feeling tonight, my friend?
I am feeling great, Alex. It's really good to get that soccer fix today, considering that there is no World Cup matches
Yeah,
for the
exactly.
first time in about 2 weeks.
Yeah, so we definitely thank those joining. We'll try and be as good as those guys on Fox or Telemundo or whatever outlet you guys are watching the games on.
I think we could match Fox. Telemundo is going to be quite a challenge.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I don't know, JD. You are bilingual and you can speak Spanish.
That is true. Aquí estamos al centro, por centro, vamos a ir al medio. Lo tiene Plunch y sale para afuera.
And that leads us to our first corner of the game. If you did not follow along there, so JD, who do we got up for sponsors?
We, as always, like to thank Remax Experience, our premier team partner, developing champion service on and off the pitch. Ho Chunk Capital, investing in a stronger Siouxland and stronger Outlaws. Norm Wyatt Jr. YMCA, proud to keep our players in top shape on the field and in the gym. And Thrive Health, the recovery team behind every comeback. Thank you to those guys and more for sponsoring us this season as we head up here in the corner for the Outlaws
Very big chance here.
on the short post.
Yeah, and
And
definitely be interested how the Blizzard set up, obviously, with the Outlaws taking that match here with the result, obviously, about a week or so ago. So some familiarity here in the matchup, but definitely looks like the Blizzard are lining up in that back three. As I kind of gave a shout out to when the lineups were released to us here, JD. It looks like almost a 3-4-3 probably in attack and a back five when they defend here based on the wingback positionings tonight, JD. So really interested to see those matchups kind of in the midfield and those half spaces who can kind of take control here with some unique formations matching up today.
definitely, Alex. This was one of my favorite matches to watch in the regular season. Speaking of the regular season, noteworthy change tonight. Andre Ferreira in the goalkeeper's position tonight, taking over and trying to fill the rather impressive shoes of Robert Foster this season. It's going to be interesting to see how he handles it tonight.
Yeah, and Coach Trent is one of those coaches, he builds his roster with certain matchups in mind. And, obviously he's got a lot right this year with the Outlaws making some history. Obviously, we have secured the regular season championship of the NPSL North Conference, which is another step forward. We were second in it last year. So obviously already a bit of a history-making season here for the Outlaws, but it's that time of year, JD. It's winter, you go home. So, you got to bring it for a full 90 minutes tonight, and the Blizzard will be out to spoil the party, you could say, in Siouxland.
Absolutely, Alex. Really, all soccer matches are really down to that sort of win or go home mentality here as we get the offside flag.
Yeah, just a bit off on that timing there, but definitely will be interesting to see how much both the teams push here early on. And like I said, the position of the Blizzard wingbacks will be very important today, just with those tactical battles, what Siouxland United likes to do in Coach Trent. Um, so yeah, that'll be an area to watch, kind of the midfield battle as well as those wide areas, JD, just to see who can create the overloads, who gets to play their style, for example.
Definitely, Alex. Match momentum. I mean, I know we're barely crossing over into the fourth minute of the match, but I would say Outlaws are kind of starting to dictate the momentum slightly of tonight's match. Hopefully, they'll be able to maintain that sort of tempo in their favor.
Yes,
Should,
Kushida, they're really patient on the ball, probably showing some comfortability with the Outlaws having with their system, with the way they want to play.
definitely, Alex. Like you said, head coach Alex Trent really builds a great roster. Incredible to watch here as it rolls right into the hands of the Blizzard FC for a probably short throw in off the.
Yeah, and that's the one thing about this field. It is a pretty narrow field to play on, as we've seen most of the year. So obviously, how you manipulate the space is a massive thing for the Outlaws. There's a great little attack here. Mupafane gets out of pressure. The Outlaws looking really sharp very early on here. Can he find him on the through ball? Great bit of play there, though, JD.
Incredible. Sort of that synergy you'd love to see, especially so early in tonight's match.
Yeah, last home game here took a while for the Outlaws to get to kind of that rhythm versus Duluth, and what ended up being a nil-nil draw. Obviously, JD, and the two draws versus Duluth were pretty much the only times during the season, I believe, that the Outlaws dropped points, if I stand corrected.
Should I believe you're correct, Alex? As we get out here on top left of the midfield here. Outlaws just crossing over the 40-yard line, hitting Blizzard territory pretty fast. Dangerous opportunity here. Can he get numbers up front? Mofone. Pressure, middle. Brings it around. Right side. Left side, excuse me. As we get a pretty deep.
Yes, Mafome is really finding himself in some very dangerous positions here early on, JD, which is a great sign for the Outlaws here. Make Coach Trent and the coaching staff happy with obviously getting him on the ball. He's a dangerous player who can create a Sasaki here, and Abdul in a foot race deals with it well enough as Blizzard will let it go out for a corner.
Which, as always, gives us opportunity to give a quick thanks to Protective Insurance, keeping us covered so we can focus on covering the field. Schulster driving excellence from the highway to the pitch. Campbell's Electric powering our nights under the lights. Shrunk Roofing keeping things solid overhead, rain or shine. And to our incredible game day crew, volunteer security team, and media staff, thank you for making this playoff event possible. We couldn't do it without you. Right as it rolls out of play here, and it's going to fall out of the hands of the Outlaws goalkeeper. It is a rather sticky 83 degrees Fahrenheit out there tonight, 28.3 degrees Celsius for those of you joining us outside the States here. As
Yeah,
mentioned it earlier,
definitely a not a bad night temperature wise for early July. Obviously the week here after the 4th of July holiday, JD.
definitely not Alex for soccer. I would say it's only honestly just a little sticky, but like you mentioned, a little cold for July, kind of a blizzard if you would.
Yeah, hopefully the blizzard doesn't have an effect on the Outlaws on the field, though.
I imagine not here as it rolls
Yeah.
right out into play.
Speaking of the blizzard, there comes in from behind and dangerous chance here for the Outlaws. Been kind of an end-to-end game so far. Both teams really going at it, and that's you know, neither team being cagey here. Both teams trying to take their chances here early on and kind of set the tone. In playoff games like this, obviously, any game the first goal is important, but kind of in situations like this where it's win or go home, the first goal is much more magnified, you could say, from a coaching perspective.
Definitely, Alex. As we have mentioned before, folks, tonight is the semifinals for the NPSL North Conference.
Great goalkeeping there by Burgos. Really strong in the air. Foot race here for
For
Kushida against the Blizzard attacker. Looks like
Kushida,
Zick. And as I said, end to end, we go from one cross in a corner to corner kick here for the Blizzard. And this would probably be a little concern, though, for the Outlaws. The Blizzard got some good size, so obviously these set pieces are going to be important, JD.
should definitely be a dangerous opportunity for Blizzard here. Quick thank you to Goal Kick Soccer, fueling dreams and footwork. Adidas gear that keeps us fast, fierce, and fresh. And Rentsu, helping Zoolander say goodbye to landlords and hello to ownership. Thank you to those guys for sponsoring us this season.
Yeah, look for the Outlaws to be strong here. Is great header there.
Great header out there. And it
Looks like one of our attackers got the head on it.
rolls right into the outside signs of Remax.
A decent crowd on hand tonight too, and that's probably because we had a little bit of weather in the area earlier, but it's, as you can see on the stream, cleaned up a little bit, and like we said, a beautiful night here in Siouxland.
Definitely.
Um, got owner Adam Dean on his fancy weather app, making sure we're all safe.
It's great. It's a great thing to have, Alex.
And we may be the safest people in the stadium since we're in the press box, but all the good people in the stands, of
We're
course.
definitely the coolest with our AC.
Great touch here.
Incredible cross shot. What a save! Incredible save there by the
Yeah, and it was
Blizzards.
a good attack. Urakami made some good contact, but it just made it look like he just didn't strike it exactly how he wanted there at the end of that attack, JD.
Definitely not there.
Just
And
maybe a little bit off on that contact, but yeah, very good sign as the Outlaws seem to be really getting down this right side a lot against Blizzard's left back. It looks like Magoe. They've been able to isolate him, kind of manipulate this space over here. It really looks like they're trying to overload this right side to try and get in. Bad turnover here. Dangerous ball from the Blizzard. Zick giving chase as
foot racing.
Kushida trying not to foul there. Well done. Good defending by Sasaki as lively start, you could say, JD.
Definitely, Alex. Live wire tonight. Honestly, probably the most live we've seen a crowd. I would say almost all season, except for maybe a couple of matches here as the Outlaws make a short throw into Abdallah.
All I know is there's way too many people walking back from the food stand with those big burritos. I should have ate before this.
Thank you to our incredible food trucks for always showing up here.
For sure.
Incredible. I mean, just amazing uh selection every
Yep.
time.
Yeah, and that's kind of was the vision, I know, of Siouxland United when club started just 3 years ago, obviously, to kind of bring this level of soccer to Siouxland and also bring a sense of community as well and give those opportunities to even people in the community to come out, be involved. And obviously, everyone with the club does a great job with that and having those partnerships with all the organizations in town. And yeah, you can never go wrong with a good food truck, right, JD?
Absolutely not, Alex. I mentioned it before on previous seasons and even previous streams. To kind of watch the sport grow here in the Siouxland area. By myself, growing up here in the Siouxland area, I remember when I was a kid, it used to just be family, and now we have, just entire communities coming together to just enjoy the incredible sport, and that's just something you love to see. Something that's incredible to
Dangerous
watch.
ball. Ooh,
Speaking of
got
incredible to
away with
watch,
it
there,
there.
dangerous opportunity.
Yeah, as I will say this, so the Blizzard are finding some pockets to kind of play those little vertical balls in between the Outlaws backline, and very dangerous chance there as Lemoyne slotted it across and Blizzard come very close and kind of like the Outlaws on the other end just didn't get that final connection. And yeah, big let off there for the Outlaws as they're through here. Looks like
Opportunity.
Urakami is in the box and blew it off of it with that physical looking backline for the Blizzard.
Something you don't want to see, Alex. Right here as we get a deep ball right off the right foot of Abdallah.
Class touch there from Abdul.
Beautiful touch. Took the words right out of my mouth, Alex.
I just know because I played center back most of my life, and I don't think my touch was ever that good.
Dancing between Kushida and Sasaki here as we get up at the left side. Uh, way back in the day when I played right wing, I know I never had a touch that clean. Back here once again with Sasaki, looking like he's gonna make a short pass, and he does right over to Kushida. Kushida
Yeah.
up the right side, feeling a bit of pressure here.
Yeah, and like I said, there's some really good balance in midfield. Spencer's sitting deep here. You got Myler kind of working the half space and then allowing Mapome here to pull clear out to the right side to kind of stretch that back five when they defend from the Blizzard. As could have been a foul there, but referee says play on with the possession and tough giveaway there.
Right,
Yep.
rules out of play.
The Outlaws looking to play quick today. You can see obviously maybe a directive from the coaching staff here as they're finding some guys in space. As here's Mapome way on that right side trying to isolate the defender. He is a very dangerous player when you can get him running at people in space, I would say, JD.
I would agree with you there, Alex. As we get a nice little inward cross. Beautiful curve, but just ahead of
And
the
I'm
Outlaws.
I'm not I'm not sure how much Coach Trent would want that particular ball with obviously, with the Blizzard playing with three center halves today, center backs, whatever you want to call them, they're very physical, they're very tall. And if you're trying to get your World Cup fix in today, since there's no matches, if you watch that Mexico England game the other day when England went down a man, England just kind of sat in with the three center backs. Mexico struggled for some ideas. They just kept whipping the ball in. And yeah, you got to find those other solutions as well, So you might not see that ball much tonight, but yeah, it's definitely a nice little change up here as the Outlaws get out on the right side here with Kushida, who's been in acres of space every time the Outlaws have the ball.
Definitely, Alex. You can build a house out here as I try to not cry as you remind me of that result of Mexico versus England.
I'm sorry, I was rooting for Mexico, go
That was a
CONCACAF, and
beautiful game.
they all failed us at this stage, unfortunately. So,
One. It was this weekend was definitely not a great one for at least me, folks.
well, hopefully our luck turns around as fans tonight, JD.
Definitely. As we find ourselves back in the box with Blizzard, setting it deep in the pitch once again, right off the headers of the Outlaws, and near a slip there for the turf.
Great win back though from the Outlaws. Dangerous here.
Opportunities, a little bit of some numbers forward could be opportunity as we end up with Mofome.
Yeah, that right there's the downside of the system though. Kushida failed to get up higher there and give us the width with Mapome and all the other strikers drifting central. There was an attack on potentially, but just that transition moment as the crowd gets a little wild here, trying to support the Outlaws.
Crowd is definitely making it known that they are here and enjoying the show. Something you just love to see. Not only as a commentator, but I'm sure as a player, just hearing the people cheer you on, whether or not they're actually cheering you specifically on or someone else, I'm sure is a fun mystery in the back of their heads as it rolls out of play. And we're gonna end up here with, I believe, a corner kick, potentially. Didn't quite see who it went off of. As we'll have to make a quick thank you to our sponsors. Thank you to Play and Assets Management, where smart investing meets outlaw hustle. Get Branded 360 outfitting champions from head to toe. Reds Printing, making it bold, loud, and always in style. And Go Passage, your ticket to outlaw badness. Thank you to those guys and more for sponsoring us this season. Hopefully, getting a quality corner kick here. Deep, short,
Great ball.
off the head of the Blizzard.
And it
Foot
just
race.
just looks like the Outlaws can get some sustained pressure. They'll get enough chances to obviously get a goal, get a dangerous chance, something like that. And just yeah, the first goal I think is just massive today.
Honestly, it should like you said earlier, Alex, that first goal today will be magnified, especially as we enter the 16th minute of the first half of the match. Plenty of time to play here, plenty of time to sort of change tact or I guess adjust tactics as we are back once again with Kushida, Akers by himself.
Yeah, and as I've said, you can definitely see this right side's that focus for the Outlaws when they build. Great touch there. Ikagami trying to be dangerous. Yeah, and he's proved to be a very solid player this year for the Outlaws in the midfield, trying to pick up those balls in half spaces, run at players, and create. And against a team that's defending with that extra defender, he'll have to be creative today. JD is here's a dangerous chance for the Blizzard.
And the entire Outlaws bench is looking for that call out, and they get it.
Definitely. It almost looked like the AR was looking the other way. And I can confirm from one of the owners of Siouxland United, Adam Dean, he did confirm with me that the referee was looking the other way. Hopefully that doesn't come back to affect the Outlaws, or Coach Alex Trent will have every reason to be a bit feisty with the officials then,
Definitely, Alex, as he appears to be trading some words here
with the fourth
with
official.
the fourth official.
Right on cue.
Exactly.
Dangerous chance here for the Blizzard. In these moments if you've been watching the World Cup, bigger teams like this sometimes do the long throws, obviously treat it like a corner kick, so the Outlaws got to be sharp here, JD.
Looks like they did one of the bigger throws, but thankfully falls right into the hands of Andre Ferreira.
Andre looked way too comfortable on that one, which is a good sign for your Outlaws.
Great sign here as Ferreira looked to give the Outlaws a little bit of time here to create some space. Sasaki back to Ferreira. Ferreira, all the time in the world. Abdallah decides to bring the attack up the left side and it rolls right out of play into the Get Branded 360. Get Branded 360, outfitting champions from head to toe. Thank you to Lucas for sponsoring us this season. As we are back with Abdallah on the right side, looking like he's going to switch the angle of attack here, but definitely taking his time as he has absolutely no pressure up here in the box.
Yeah, and like we said, a very good crowd on hand tonight as people keep trickling in.
Yes, Kushida going for a little bit of fancy moves.
And
Doesn't get it.
speaking of a good crowd, if the Outlaws do win tonight, JD, there will be another home game this Saturday, right? As I'll hold off on that thought.
Definitely here. Opportunity. Top of the box and
Fantastic
goal!
save initially, but the Outlaws put it in.
What a goal.
And it was that right side. Yoshida finding himself in some space as Mapome trying to manipulate the defenders that way in a late run from the Outlaws as a nice little celebration there to honor the occasion. Urakami just slipping in on that back post and a fantastic ball from Kushida though, JD. And that's what I was talking about. The Outlaws were really, working down that right side. It finally paid off that they got their right back high up the field in space, numbers in the box, and were able to put that chance away. That's got to make obviously everyone in Siouxland happy, and yeah, I see the crowd loving this moment. Now can the Outlaws build on it?
Definitely, Alex. As we were talking about all tonight, folks, right as we're crossing over into the 20th minute, that first goal definitely magnified. And we're grateful that it falls right into the box of the Outlaws. I guess
Yeah, and
score box is what I should say.
that's that massive first goal I was talking about all the first 20 minutes. So look for the Outlaws to really build on this now.
Definitely. As the Blizzard
Referee
was
just
not
making
liking
sure
that.
field's ready for play again. Some water bottles being tossed around. The team seemed to use that as a mini hydration break, you could say, JD.
Definitely, Alex.
Everyone's favorite words, hydration break, match break, whatever you want to call it, right?
Oh, as I'm sure.
As we enter the second quarter here. That's been the that's been the jokes in my group chat, like second quarter,
Oh,
fourth quarter,
yeah,
yeah.
me too. Don't worry. That mini hydration break brought to you by Mike Murphy, our legal and Advil alcohol as the Outlaws bench looking to get that.
Yeah, looked like it could have made a touch off the Blizzard. Referee says no, and in fairness, he was looking down the line this time, so we'll give him the benefit of the doubt as Spencer breaks out here. Outlaws really looking to drive forward as that could be a yellow card here coming out of the pocket for Lagendam.
And it is.
Probably the most nailed on yellow card for center half Andrew Wubbin.
Class Logendam.
Yeah, definitely a denial of a nice little counterattack there, and that's really well done from Spencer. He might be the deepest lying midfielder, but as a player growing up from the Nebraska area, he has played in some more attacking positions. So when he saw that space, drove into it and tried to build on the Outlaws lead very quickly and kind of leave no doubt, as Coach Trent said he wanted to do today in our conversation.
Definitely, Alex has a Suzuki looking to make that first touch here. Deep up the left side opportunity potentially if we can clean it up here, and we do. Keeping it, getting a little too fancy with the footwork, and the Blizzard just decides to kick it way up the pitch here.
And as we're kind of getting back to our roots from how we started this, kind of to commemorate the first ever regular season conference championship, getting some guests on today as we got one of the Siouxland United owners joining us, and you sometimes probably hear him in the background on the PA system doing his thing. Adam Dean joining us today. And Adam, sorry we pulled you away from the PA system. If there's a goal, we'll have to have JD hop on that one, right?
Yeah, no worries.
It's a good problem to have if we score, right?
Yes,
So
it's a very good problem.
so obviously, yeah, enjoy you hopping on. So, what's been the most exciting thing about like the progress with Siouxland United over the first 3 years? Obviously, there's been progression every year with winning the postseason last year. Obviously, this year winning the regular season. What excites you the most about like the direction of the program?
It's important to establish good roots, start off strong. It shows our partners, shows the community and everything like that, that we're very dead serious of trying to build something here in the area. that we're not just trying to throw something together and
Right.
call it call it good.
Yes. Right.
Call it
Yeah.
a sport or whatever you want to call it. But I mean,
Yeah.
we really put a lot of effort, blood, sweat, and tears, if you will,
Yes.
into building the foundation and giving these players the opportunity to play, giving the coaching staff the opportunity to coach, and
Mhm.
giving the community something to watch in the area.
Right. Yeah. It's definitely, like we said, a good event for the community, be involved any way you can. And yeah, this is probably one of the guys with all the blood, sweat, and tears behind the scene, as those of you who followed Siouxland United from the start. Adam's had probably a lot of late nights, early mornings over this, and it's kind of good to see the fruits of the labor. So, what do you got? And
We
hold
got
on
a
here.
lot of
Let's get
attack
another
here.
goal. Maybe we'll be back to getting goals while we have guests on too, right, Adam? Oh,
Exactly. That's what we want. Oh, just
commentator's
outside.
curse there, though. I got too excited. So, yeah, we'll have to get Jesse Castillo up here because usually when we get Jesse on, we score boatloads of goals, right?
Oh,
So,
absolutely.
yeah, and then he just wants to sit here and talk per usual. But what do you got to say about the coaching staff this year? Kind of the growth you've seen in the team, what they've been able to put into the players as well. Obviously, there's been lots of player turnover because I've talked to Coach Trent about that. He's been able to,
One
yeah,
of our coaches' challenges is we're such a unique league
hmm
that we get looked at by all the UPSL leagues and all the other bigger leagues that are around. And that's exactly what happened with a couple of our players midseason.
yep,
We had a midfielder, Kyohe, shot a
mhm,
killer of a penalty like your Tillman from the USA
yep,
right into the goal. Next day, UPSL called him up, went out to Virginia.
right.
So,
It's
I mean, our battle is that we want to raise and have a good team, but we're battling the fact that, if these players get scouted, because there's other
yep,
organizations watching these players constantly,
for sure.
they're going to get scouted. And if they get an opportunity, and we want these players to have
Yes,
that opportunity, that's the
yeah,
point of this league.
yep,
They need the opportunity to move up and to
hmm
strengthen and to get stronger. And so with the coaching staff, I'm, super happy with our, super lucky find of Alex Trent.
hmm
We're very fortunate to be able to have him here.
yep,
And he's built a good coaching staff. We have our local
right.
coach, BJ Wiley, who's been in this part of this community for decades and
Yep.
decades. He's coached at Morningside. Super appreciative of him and everything that he does when he can do it.
Yes,
You
he's
know,
a busy guy. I'm actually his assistant coach at the club level this year, so that'll be a funny pairing between me and BJ.
oh,
So I'll get to know
you get to play assistant coach,
I
huh?
get to play assistant coach. It's kind of nice because I got enough stress with the college side as well. And yeah, that's always a tricky thing because I kind of live the same thing as a JUCO coach. As Abdul almost gets on the end of it there. Good little spell here from the Outlaws. We may just keep you on all day until JD can go home. No, just kidding. We don't want that, JD. You're good.
Another
Come
corner kick
come
here
hang
coming
out.
up.
So yeah, it's one of those things. I think that's a huge testament to the coaching staff. But yeah, anything else you got to add about what's coming up for Siouxland United? What's kind of in the works? What to stay tuned with? Obviously, something like that to keep
Obviously,
your
we
eyes
win
on.
tonight. We host again on Saturday. More than likely, it'll be a 7 p.m. kickoff against either Duluth or Fusion for the conference title, which is
Yep.
fantastic. And do it, we want to do it again 2 years in a row. Show the
Yep.
community that we're dead serious. And with that win, the winner of that will go on to play the Golden Gate Conference winner, which is
Right.
out of California, in a week from
Yep.
Saturday. So I mean, it'll be a lot of moving parts, but we've got a lot of great things happening. We're
hmm
working with a lot of communities from Big Brothers Big Sisters,
Right.
Boys and Girls Club, the
hmm
YMCA. We've been down to Winnebago
Yep.
and the Macy area. We've just been doing a lot of stuff in the community, and
Which
as
is
we
great
kind
to
of
see.
wind down here a little
Yep.
bit, we're hoping to continue doing some of that drive-in support. So
Yep.
looks like we're getting a little bit of a water break from the
As
referee.
as we are having a hydration
Hydration
break,
break.
so
We are
yeah,
pulling some FIFA rules here today, some
I
World Cup
guess
rules.
so. Yeah, like I
So
said, we're
first
getting
quarter's
our
done.
first quarter's done. We're into the match break as they're calling it on Fox. So
I want to
thank
play
you for
some music.
joining us though, Adam. And yeah,
Thank you
we'll
for having me.
hopefully have you on Saturday. And folks, JD didn't leave, so he's
Well, I
still
was
with
packing
us.
my bags, but
Yeah, he looked way too excited when I told him, "Hey, you're out." He's like, "Okay, cool," But
Perfect.
we love having JD on the broadcast as well as thank Adam for joining us. We'll probably have Jesse Castillo joining us sometime in the second half or later in the first half as well. Um, since he made his way back from his World Cup adventure earlier this month, as I was hanging out with him in Dallas. So Jesse's in full soccer fever as well as everyone else is in Siouxland. JD.
definitely, Alex. I myself did not go down to Dallas, but I have been trying to catch every minute of the World Cup that I can as we enter the second quarter of tonight's match. Quick thank you to Wells Blue Bunny Sweet Treats Hometown Heat. La Juanitas, fueling the fans one burrito at a time. Fibercom and I'm on lightning fast internet for game day streams and highlight reels. And Stony Creek Hotel, where our guests rest like champions. Thank you to those guys for sponsoring us this season as we prepare for the second quarter of tonight's match. You could say almost as you were talking to Adam Dean here on the stream tonight, Alex, definitely some opportunities there, or at least appearing to be some pretty dangerous opportunities for the Outlaws.
Yeah. No, and that would have been massive just to get that second goal right after the first one, just to really put the pressure on the Blizzard to obviously come out of their, back five shapes and some more players forward, which would leave more gaps for the Outlaws, who have actually done a great job of finding those gaps. You see the little tweak in midfield, pushing another attacking midfielder higher to almost get four people in that front line. So you're almost going to 4 versus 5, which is allowing the numbers to get forward, JD, allowing the Outlaws to be dangerous. And yeah, on a day like this, where it's win or go home, obviously it's something where you have to be strong, have to be brave, and make those big calls as a coaching staff, and the players have to execute.
Should be interesting to watch here as the Outlaws go into a shotgun formation. Oh wait, sorry, wrong football there. Getting too much into the American football there.
Yeah, and as you've seen with the World Cup, obviously there might be some opportunities to make some adjustments during these water breaks, hydration breaks, and you've often seen during the World Cup momentum has changed because, the one positive about it is it does give coaches kind of a chance to talk to their players, kind of communicate their ideas, and obviously you have seen at the World Cup level, it's obviously affected games. So we'll see tonight if there's any tactical changes from Coach Trent, tactical changes from Coach Randall and the Blizzard, obviously to get a little more control in this game, and the Blizzard to hopefully get that, or the Outlaws to get that second goal and really put the pressure on the Blizzard to come out.
Definitely, Alex. I would say tonight's match, getting that second goal would kind of really solidify the deal for the Outlaws here. But I
Trying to shut
imagine
down the Blizzard though here. The Outlaws have dealt with all the set pieces very well from the Blizzards. Great little touch there and look to combine quick counterattack. These are what the Outlaws thrive on.
quick all in.
Ikagami there, great touch. Mapome's in acres of space if he can find him.
He does.
Couldn't get the final touch there. Who is that in the center, JD?
I'm trying to find that
Looks
out
like
right now.
Sakurai just missed the connection there.
Barely.
Yeah, it's another great attack there from the Outlaws, and those are the moments as referee blows for a foul here.
Definitely not.
Blizzard getting a little bit more physical here by each passing minute, and that's something you got to watch as the game develops.
Definitely not something you want to see here as we enter the 31st minute of tonight's match. Still plenty of time to play here at Bishop Elam Memorial Field as the Outlaws, as Mother Nature turns up the brightness on the sun here, right into the eyes of the Outlaws.
Great ball in, little flick, almost there. There's another
Almost
dangerous
there.
chance for Murakami.
Murakami had an opportunity, just short.
Outlaws are looking to bust the door down and get that second goal as center back. Sasaki staying high here. He's going on an adventure, I would
was
say.
gonna say he got a little lost on the hydration break apparently.
But I will say, like the one thing you like as a coach, there's Jason Spencer realized as a defensive mid that his center back was way up the pitch. He's dropped into his spot and given Sasaki time to get back, because that's a really clever play from a very young player there in Jason.
Definitely, Alex. Having that sort of field view, being able to notice things like that is something incredible. I'm sure you love to see, as you just mentioned, as a coach. And
I have to see those things.
oh yeah, but I mean, as like you love to see it as a coach for one of your players to be able to do that. See when a slot's empty and be able to fill that slot, if temporarily.
Definitely. And
As
Jason's kind of come on later in the year too with those, kind of the situation Siouxland's in with having so much success at this level. You're going to get players picked off. He's kind of got thrust into that role. Maybe that Coach Trent didn't expect him to, but he's done very well. And as many other players have done, like Adam was talking with all the roster turnover, it's a good problem to have. Kind of like the level I coach at the JUCO level. Sometimes you lose guys early because they get those opportunities. You want the players to move on. Because that's kind of their pathway. But obviously, it's something you have to constantly adjust for as a coach, which sometimes makes life a little crazy. And I think it's even crazier at the summer league level because players can come and go during the season.
Definitely, Alex.
Mapome's in here.
Sort of one of the bittersweet things. I'm sure, as we mentioned, I know Adam, our owner Adam Dean, mentioned that tonight here. As the players are constantly getting scouted, so having to have that sort of shifting, not necessarily constantly, but near constant shifting roster is both a blessing and a curse because you love to see the players advance on, but at the same time, for your own organization, it is, like I said, a bittersweet thing as a
Fantastic touch there.
beautiful touch.
Outlaws once again are really, really blazing down this right side with Mapome. Just gets away from him
Just
a bit. Saw him shaping up for that shot though, JD. Adam Dean got so excited there. He started to be DJ during the middle of the
Adam
game.
Dean has gotten a new soundboard, and the audience is loving it.
I don't know. He may love it more than the audience, I think.
I'm not gonna lie, he might be enjoying it more than more than the people down
I
there.
mean, would you not, JD?
I would not have the restraint that Adam Dean does. I'll tell you that much. I will tell you that much. As someone who used to be on a radio show, yeah, that would be me right there.
For sure is. Yeah, like kind of the trend this game. The Outlaws are really building pretty much every chance they get down this right side. It's something the Blizzard are gonna have to adjust for. Otherwise, these dangerous chances are gonna keep coming, I think.
Off the right foot of Mafone falling out of play here for the Blizzard. Sasaki feeling a bit of pressure, but letting it just roll out. Absolutely no worry on him as Kushida's going to be making a pretty long throw, but
He threw it in on the wrong line though.
the ref's looking to recorrect that here, giving it over to the Blizzard. And it
Yeah,
looks like Kane McGowie is going to be making a throw in, the
yeah, that
captain.
that was probably the easiest illegal throw call ever since both his feet were clearly in the field of play, unfortunately for the Outlaws, but nothing comes of it, JD, thankfully.
Thankfully, Alex, if you're gonna make a mistake, make a small one, as I say.
Yeah. It's like I said, that's why you got a team around you. Nobody's perfect, so it's just how you react the next moment and you get after it.
Yeah. As one of the coaches that I know used to say, reaction, reaction, reaction.
Yeah, for
As
sure. So
Sasaki brings it around here with Kushida. Kushida to Momofome. Alex, I may be having a naive eye here, but Kito Mofome has been having some pretty dangerous opportunities here tonight for the Outlaws, but he just doesn't seem to have the, I want to say, confidence to really drive that ball in the back of the net there. I've kind of been noticing him trying to make that sort of those cross passes to other players, kind of redirect. Maybe you could see something that I don't, but I think he just needs that confidence to kind of really finish it because I mean he's been kind of a dangerous man tonight. Wouldn't
yeah,
you agree?
yeah, I think their goal is just to get him in space, let him isolate players. But they're doing a good job of it. I think, attacking players, you got to have a short memory in the aspect of you may have three, four, five dangerous chances before the goal actually comes. Just having like that short memory and such. But yeah, the Outlaws are really working this right side, really finding those spaces, and that's got to be a great sign for Coach Trent. As Sasaki here should be able to deal with this. As I did, as a bit of a mistake there from the Outlaws, and the Blizzard pounce on it. Massive moment there that can change the game in a big way. JD is.
Definitely not something you want to see as an Outlaw fan here, as we are now tied in the 37th minute
Yeah, and
of
that's just a mistake you can't have.
I don't
The
think
Outlaws were really starting to get control on this game, and that's a big, big moment. And it comes down to communication, decision making in moments like that at the back, and because even before that, the Blizzard weren't sending many numbers forward and such. So we'll try to get a number on that goal.
so should be
Looks like it was one of their strikers. We'll try and get a number for you, but
an interest an interesting moment there for the Blizzard. It's not gonna be something you want to see here.
as that's a little buzzkill for the vibes, JD, you could say.
You can say that, Alex. We're now back. We're now tied here, 1-1 at the 38th minute. Plenty of time here in the second quarter. first half for those of you who
Yeah, and unfortunately, that's what I was saying. You know, sometimes you see games change massively in after those moments, you know, and it wasn't really anything tactically. It was just, a mistake on a situation the Outlaws seemingly had under control. The only blessing in disguise is shortly after this, I guess, Coach Alex Trent can get the guys in the locker room, discuss what happened so it didn't happen again. And, you can't change the past. You can only learn from it at this point, JD. So the Outlaws got to keep pushing.
definitely not, Alex. Like you said, it's kind of just those small mistakes that can really change the momentum of a match. As we are up on the left side here, opportunity potentially for the Outlaws being a bit more aggressive, but a lot of traffic in the middle. As looks like Spencer, I believe, was not able to get it through that line.
Yeah.
Outlaws feeling a lot more pressure here.
Yeah, as you can feel the temperature rising a little bit at this game,
Definitely as sorry,
as
excuse
it
me,
looks like number
Ikegami.
3 Lemoyne for the Blizzard was down as Spencer comes out of another rough tumble challenge, winning his team a free kick.
Yeah, right there with Ikegami. Really trying to have that sort of synergy, but a lot of, as you said, Alex, definitely the temperature is definitely rising in tonight's match, which hopefully doesn't boil over. You know,
Yeah, and when these two teams matched up last time, I did hear it was quite the intense matchup. So I can only imagine it, might get to that point. You hope so, but I do think the referee has done very well so far with managing the game. He's thrown the one yellow card on the one moment that was clearly stopping a dangerous counterattack from the Outlaws. But yeah, he's managed things really well. Lots of conversation. So I think he's done a fantastic job of keeping the temperature of this game down, which is kind of put it in a good spot heading forward.
definitely Alex here as we are with Sakaguchi.
And once again, that might be a tough ball for the Outlaws to win with the Blizzard's height and physicality, you could say, in the box areas. Great defending there from the right back. Kushida, who finds himself on the left after that set piece. He's going to put in a cross from his not favored side, and that might be why he plays on the right side.
Presumably Alex here.
But you love the bravery to take it, though. A lot of players would be scared to take it. He made the right decision, and sometimes it would go off. He tried to put the ball in his Sasaki can't deal with it. As a great touch there from Zick, and what a
What
save
a
from
save!
Pereira. As a Blizzard definitely getting some momentum now as we creep closer to halftime here. As Sasaki, you think, has to deal with that longer ball better. As the Blizzard are thriving on that today, JD.
Could have swore I saw a little bit of a Vozina in there from Capo Verde on that save.
Yes, exactly. As that was a massive save there from Ferrer as we line up for a corner kick.
Definitely here, Alex. Quick thank you to our sponsors here. iHeartMedia blasting Outlaw Pride across the airwaves, Specialized Concrete, laying the groundwork for success. Thank you to those guys for sponsoring us this season. Quick corner kick here, so not going to be able to squeeze in a lot of sponsors here, but
Well, luckily the ball boys gave you some time to
to
get
sort of
get all our sponsors in and give them a shout out. Hopefully, it gives the Outlaws some time to get organized and just can't give up a second goal here right before half.
definitely not as we enter the 42nd minute here.
Spencer does well there as we're back again for another corner kick. As
We give a
yeah,
quick shout out to Specialized Concrete, laying the groundwork for success. Rad LLC, investing savvy with Outlaw Spirit. And Chesterman's Empowered, hydration heroes of the sideline.
what color power did you have today, JD?
Today I had actually a white one.
Oh dang, we'll get back to my flavor today. As Spencer wins another header.
Back-to-back headers, good.
He's been. I honestly think he's been fantastic for the Outlaws today in every asset. So
Well, I'm sure. I'm sure he'd love to hear that later on tonight's stream, as we fall.
yeah, another long throw here. The Blizzard are really piling on the pressure here. If you'd have told me this 7, 8 minutes ago that we'd be in a 1-1 game, Blizzard seizing all the momentum, I would have said I'm not sure about that. But another dangerous flick on.
Definitely, Alex. That's what makes the game so exciting. Just the sudden shifts of momentum here as the audience gets a little more rowdy. So great to see from the community. As people are still trickling in. Top of the box here with the 43rd minute plus stoppage time. So about 2 minutes plus stoppage.
And it does look like the Blizzard have made some adjustments defensively. They're kind of sending another center midfield over near Mapome to stop him from getting on the ball, and it's kind of frustrating the Outlaws. They're not getting as much joy going forward right now. So
Definitely.
that's something as a coaching staff I think the Outlaws are really, really going to look at here.
Something you just don't want to see as it falls right over the sign of Reside Properties. Thank you to Refresh sponsor the Reside Properties, creating space for champions to live. Thank you for them sponsoring us this season. Back here with Sasaki, excuse me. A little bit of pressure, but kind of letting the clock be killed here.
And this
As
is a good
Kushida,
sign. Yoshida, great touch there from the Outlaws. Just a bit too far though.
just a bit
But,
high there.
but but yeah, once again they were able to find their right back in space. Kushida, numbers in front of him, and every time that seems to happen, the Outlaws are able to get a dangerous chance. Referee saw nothing there. Can the Outlaws take advantage? Fortunately, just a touch off.
A little bit here, but we find ourselves once again with Kushida, finding himself over to Mofome. Mofome pressure up the middle, cuts it across right side, brings it around that left side here. Cross, looking like it was intended for Urakami, but just set rolls off the head of the Blizzard here. Thankfully, Outlaws recover, and we find ourselves back once again with Abdul Abdallah. Decides to make the left side once again the angle of attack here. A little bit of dancing back and forth as we enter the 45th minute. So the final minute of the second quarter,
And we'll
plus
we'll
some
have
stoppage
to
time.
look how many minutes the fourth official tells the coaches here. I'm gonna guess we're being a standard probably about a 3. I'm guessing with the water break. There hasn't been many on-field stoppages. But definitely more in the recent games than we've had, JD. The last home game against Duluth, there was not many stoppages at all. Both teams kind of kept the ball in play. There has been a few more breaks in play today, and obviously, yeah, tense 1-1 game at halftime here with the Outlaws kind of letting the Blizzard back in the game. But fair play to Blizzard, they took
Quality
their
touch there.
chances. As great
Oh,
goalkeeping from Burgos. Ikagami there breaking through the lines, and that may be a ball that the Outlaws have to play some as well, since not have as much joy on the ground here, playing through the lines, JD.
definitely, Alex. Just a really
Sloppy play there from Abdul. Coach Trent cannot be happy right now. Dangerous chance from the Blizzard. Better ball there, and the Blizzard would have been in again.
definitely, Alex. Something you don't want to see here as we enter stoppage time. Mofone rings it to the middle, and we find ourselves left side. Entered stoppage time. I didn't catch how much we have here as we get the offside flag for the Outlaws. Definitely not the opinion of the audience here on that offside call, but you know, it is what happens.
Yeah. And the benefit of the referee, it is easier to ref games on football fields because you do have the hash marks. You can kind of see where players are, which make things a little bit easier. At least with this field setup, you're not looking into the sun as an AR. I've lived that life a few times, and that is not fun.
Definitely not. And I imagine, and we don't have VAR here. Mofome pressure, referee kind of getting in the mix there.
Yeah, and that definitely, unfortunately, did look like a foul from Mapome there. He was in good position, it appeared. He just extended his arm a little bit. I don't think he had to do that, JD. And, against a team like the Blizzard who thrives on these set pieces, anytime you make a foul in this area, they're going to whip the ball in. They're, 9 times out of 10 anymore, every team's going to do this, right? They're going to put pressure on you for the first ball, the second ball. Outlaws have to stay organized here. Number 3 here for the Blizzard, just drifting into some space, pulling an Outlaw away from the wall, which could be dangerous.
Opportunity here as we enter stoppage time. Outlaws header out the field there, and it's going to be Ikegami chasing it down, but just wasn't able to get there in time. So the Blizzard are able to recollect here as they're looking to make a last-minute quality throw. Speaking of quality, thank you to Quality IT for sponsoring us this season.
Have to stay organized here. This got to be close to the last attack this half, I would say. Dangerous
Definitely,
little flick
Alex.
there. Ferreira does well. Looks
For a
like he got undercut and earned himself a foul.
nice punch out, though.
Yeah, way to be brave on that punch out.
Should be interesting here to see. As Alex, as you mentioned here, probably the last sort of minute.
I could be wrong though. They don't have a little board telling us. Unfortunately, maybe that's something we could see in future NPSL seasons.
Would be nice.
Maybe we can talk to Adam Dean and maybe he can get the fourth official one of those some days. I'll have to ask Jesse Castillo when he's on for the second half interview if it's in the works for the Outlaws. It's the little things, right, JD?
It definitely is. You don't notice it till it's gone.
Yep.
Wise words right there. As Outlaws looking to recollect a lot of back and forth off the head and feet here. Outlaws looking to maintain that sort of last minute possession here
Clever
as
there
we're
from Ikegami
inching
is.
our way into the Blizzard territory.
Yep, and that
And right as I say that, commentator's curse comes in full
did
play.
look like Sakurai clipped him a bit as I was going to say the Blizzard appeared to be off there as referee just had to wait till the attacker played the ball. And yeah, those are the moments the Outlaws got to be aware of. And you think that Coach Trent will, try and rectify, those direct balls over the top, the quick direct play from the Blizzard, and obviously, um, yeah, it's something you just got to clean up a few things. The Outlaws have probably been the better team this half, created more dangerous chances, but at the end of the day in a playoff game, the biggest stat that matters is the scoreboard over there, JD, as Spencer surges forward again. And looks like referee thought he was blowing for a foul, but faked me out and blew for halftime. Looked like Spencer almost won another one as well. So
He got me
as,
too, Alex.
as we enter the half, a tense 1-1 scoreline, you could say. Um, up until probably about the last 10 minutes of the second half, the Outlaws really controlled the game. Blizzard got back in it with that mistake, but should be a very interesting second half here in about 15 minutes, JD.
Definitely, folks. Alex, any sort of thoughts you want to do before we close off?
Nope. We just hope to see everyone back here. Get your soccer fix for the day since there's no World Cup games on today, and it looks like we'll have the full mix of hydration breaks and heat on outdoor fields here in Siouxland. But yeah, definitely will be an interesting second half, and we hope you join us again. Thank you.
And welcome back here to Bishop Memorial Field for tonight's semifinal match between the Minnesota Blizzard and your Siouxland United Outlaws. Score sitting here 1-1 as your Outlaws took the lead here at the beginning of the first half and then sort of gave up an unfortunate goal. A little bit more on that later here, as the Outlaws now have the sun to their back and the Blizzards are looking right into the setting sun.
Hey, you hope the
As
sun
always.
melts the blizzard a little bit here, you could say, JD.
You could here, as always. My name is JD Morrow. Joining with me is the one and only, as you just heard, Alex Schuler. Alex, how you feeling for the second half, or I guess the
Well,
third quarter of tonight's match?
hopefully, I mean, it just felt like there was a major, like, not to put it too simply, but just a shift in the vibes there after the Outlaws gave that goal pretty much to the Blizzard. Fair play to the Blizzard, though. When, a team makes a mistake, you have to take advantage, and they were there to pounce, which, is what you got to do. And yeah, there was just a clear change in kind of the momentum and stuff. So, yeah, this is a very, very big first 5-10 minutes here to kind of dictate the tempo from either squad to see who will kind of take control here. And yeah, very, very tense, I would say, the last 10 minutes of that first half, JD's after it went 1-1.
Definitely, Alex. You definitely felt the temperature and pressure rise between both teams in tonight's match as the Blizzard Outlaws here already kind of maintaining that high pressure and speed here. Already feeling a little faster than the entirety of the first half as a little bit back and forth here and the Blizzard recollect. They're
I, w-
bringing themselves all the way
I
back
would
here.
not be shocked if the Outlaws try and press a little bit higher this half, force maybe the Blizzard into a mistake. But yeah, just for reference, since this is a postseason game, if the game is tied at the end of play, the game would go to two 15-minute extra time periods. And as you've seen in the World Cup a few times, the quality of penalties might have been lacking in some of those shootouts, but it would go to a penalty shootout potentially on the cards tonight. Obviously, neither team wants it to go to that point, JD. And yeah, it would be something where, then it comes down to spot kicks. So yeah, definitely, something the managers and coaches might have in the back of their minds is obviously planning for potentially that extra 30 minutes with substitutes.
Definitely, Alex. Penalty kicks is not something you want to see tonight here.
Yeah,
And
and speaking of, the progression in the playoffs and stuff, we do have an early update from that other playoff game. The 2 seed versus the 3 seed Duluth FC versus Dakota Fusion here. Very early in that game, and the home team Duluth is up 1-0, um, which would mean Duluth would advance to the conference championship game, awaiting the winner of this game. If the Outlaws won, they would be hosting that game as well, as we said, Saturday night here at Bishop Healy Memorial Field.
definitely a lot in the line for your Outlaws tonight. As you can definitely, I would say you can definitely feel the speed sort of shift in the second half, Alex. I mentioned that a little earlier, but Outlaws looking to really recollect and hold on to that momentum and sort of get that ball in the back of the net, really solidify a 2-1 lead would be incredible for the Outlaws and really
Great little ball there. Can we get in? Oh,
just
class defending there from number 14, DeGrotto in the back there for the Blizzard. He just used his body well, let the ball shepherd out.
definitely definitely something you don't want to see here as an Outlaw, but it's great to see at least the Outlaws getting that sort of deep in the attack this early in the second half or third quarter, depending upon which
As
system you want
Ferreira
to follow.
challenge there from the Outlaws, and these are the moments where you have to look to go quickly.
Definitely, Alex.
I think this is probably great that we got our guest of Jesse Castillo coming on later, because if you remember correctly, folks, every time Jesse does come on, there seems to be Outlaw goals. So maybe that's precisely what this game needs.
Definitely. It's nice to have that sort of unofficial tradition of a guest
As
against
it
goals
looks
here.
like he's busy though right now. He's selling some water bottles,
I think
tossing
he's
out.
giving out
Oh, he's giving
free
out
merch
free
here.
stuff. JD, are you gonna run down and
Free
get some
merch.
free
I might
stuff?
run down here. You know what? No, all these youngsters running down here. I might jump in.
He's getting a bit crowded around.
The loud cup
Ah, loud cups.
from last season.
Awesome. So we do have a corner kick here though, JD, as the Outlaws look to line up. You can maybe squeeze in one sponsor here quick for
Quick
the
thank you to Savvy here, helping our fans plan for their retirement with flair and for sponsoring this season and enabling us to give out free stuff this this season here as Jesse
great
Castillo
ball. The Outlaws just miss it.
just missed it there.
Looks like it just was a mistime header there, as that was turned out to be a pretty dangerous chance there for the Outlaws. Something they haven't had much off of those corner kicks is
Definitely not, Alex. As we get a deep kick here, right into the head,
of Jason Spencer. A little clip there.
and that's just how we get a yellow card. Yellow card.
Referee deems it was a flop on the Outlaws.
That's definitely not something you want to see here. Yamato Irakami getting that yellow card here.
Yes. Yeah, Urakami there. Yeah, as he did get a yellow there, and the reason he's getting a yellow, as most of you know, is for the simulation piece of it. But yeah, I mean, referee was a lot closer than us, but I definitely think it's something where looked to me like he got clipped, JD, but obviously I'm biased.
Obviously, we're biased up here at the box, but like you said, Alex, he has a better view than us, and as much as we don't agree, and apparently the fans don't agree either, we
Well, I mean, it's not like we can go back 100 yards, look at VAR, see if someone got stepped on, stuff
that's.
like that as
I
well,
was
you know,
just about to
JD.
say, unfortunately, we don't have the capabilities of FIFA in the World Cup,
Yes. Yeah, unfortunately, we do not have VAR tonight as looks like the Outlaws are in here. Ikagami.
but we
This is a
do.
guy you want in space. Got the overlap. Plays it in. Good hit. No handball, but stays with it. What a save there from the
What a
keeper, Burgos.
save. Just there bouncing off his hands, but able to recollect quickly here as I believe that was Yamato Irakami who made
Yep,
that
that was
shot.
Irakami. Great. Sasaki did better with that long ball there than he did at the end of the first half that almost caught the Outlaws.
Definitely here as well. We find ourselves once again with Abdullah. Abdallah passes short to Sekiguchi all the way up here, and it's just way too far ahead for Irakami to foot race his way to that one.
Yeah, and like
Thankfully,
like we said, you know, the Outlaws have come out stronger here in the second half, but kind of similar to the first half. You know, the Outlaws probably dominated play for I'd say 2/3, 3/4 of that first half, as you would expect the one seed to do. Is here's a dangerous chance there, clever play. Ball stays in. Can you press a little bit? No, we cannot. But as I was saying, you know, the Outlaws came out. They dominated most of the first half, but only one goal to show for it was kind of the disappointing thing. And the longer you let teams hang around, you know, more games can get tight like this.
absolutely, as Jason Spencer hits the turf for the third time tonight. Definitely not something you want to see here as Abdallah. Back line, short pass,
And the
nice little
Blizzard were
touch.
pressing with three players there, and these passes at breaking lines will be able to break that down if the Outlaws can do it, JD.
Definitely. Ikigami, left side, feeling a bit of the pressure, a bit of back and forth. Pushing and pulling here. Nice pass, getting barely through, but unfortunately falls right into the defense of
Yeah, it's
the
just
Blizzard.
played the ball to the wrong side of Sakurai there, and that's kind of those little details you got to be aware of as a coach. You know, if he played the correct side, which was the open side of him, he's able to let that ball run and he's through.
Definitely, Alex. Blizzard led by their head coach, Forrest Randall, along with your Outlaws.
Great ball from Myler, and it's in!
And it's a goal.
Urakami gets on the end of it as it might be charted as an own goal off of Burgos, but we don't care. It is 2-1 Outlaws off of a great little bit of individual play, but definitely Urakami will take the credit there initially, put it on frame, hit off the bar, and Burgos very unlucky with that. But that's why you got to put the ball in dangerous areas, JD. You know, you got a bit of clever play there, and the Outlaws come out, take another one-goal lead. It's now comes the tricky part that they didn't do in the first half. Can you build on it? Can you get that second goal? Can you put some distance between you and the opponent, JD?
Definitely, Alex has mentioned the 53rd minute of tonight's match. Something you just love to see really solidify the momentum. But like you said, Alex, can the Outlaws sort of build off of this and not let, like last time, a simple mistake turn into a tie making goal?
And you see Urakami right as he got back to the half-field line, gave Myler a big thumbs up for that cross and that ball in that gave him the chance. So he's looking for more of that. He's even encouraging the team to press higher, get forward, and keep that momentum going.
Definitely, Alex. A great audience turnout tonight. Love to hear them cheering in the stands. Great to see the community come together for events like this. As
For sure.
always,
Yeah,
quick
that
thank you to
was.
our sponsors for making all of this possible for both the players, the audience, and us up here in the AC box.
Oh, Outlaws about it again. Urkami's feeling it now. He wants that another goal.
Definitely, Alex. Outlaws are hungry for that third goal, creating some major distance between them and the Blizzard. But Blizzards at this time are still only one behind.
Clever little ball there. It looked like from number 10, Esteban here. Cut
Beautiful.
out by the Outlaws. And Mapome does need to find the ball a little bit more. The Outlaws were so dangerous with him in the first half. That's a person, you look to maybe get on the ball a little bit more. Spencer, great play out wide. Got a hit behind. Referee saw it, plays a great advantage. Ikegami here again, JD.
Akagami right up here, top of the box. Right side, short passes, chip in, but off the header of the back line there for the Blizzard. As
What I say, it's that man again, Mapome. Find that man in space. Let him run. Let him create.
Opone, once again, just as you said, Alex,
He's one of those guys who will attract defenders
as we
to
get a
him.
yellow card.
Yeah, and it looks like he's pulling it back. That was the advantage I talked about. Referee played that perfectly. It looks like number 10 Esteban there with the yellow card for the late foul on Spencer he saw behind the play. Referee has every right to pull back and do that, but yeah, he let the advantage go, and that's what you want to see. Obviously, JD, as a referee, you're taught to actually let that advantage go, let the dangerous chance come. You can always pull it back and make that foul call as well.
Definitely, Alex. As the Blizzard deep ball, and it looks like it's going to be right off the head of the Outlaws number 16, Ikegami. Ikegami kind of proving tonight to be a pretty key player for the Outlaws as Mofome just loses it here, but and wasn't able to really get that tap on the second half. Find ourselves in the back line with the Blizzard here as the recent yellow card receiver.
Esteban does very
Esteban.
well there to get out of this. Very dangerous player, it looks like, for the Blizzard, JD, going forward, number 10.
Opportunity there, but falls right in the hands of Spencer. Spencer just taking too much time there and just loses the ball to the
Yeah,
Blizzard.
can't get complacent there in those moments.
Definitely not. Brings it around backside, and we are with Snyder. Substitutions here coming on for the Outlaws, which I'm sure we'll get to here in a moment.
Yep, we'll get all those sorted.
Looking like it's going to be Ken Naito, Shion Inagaki, excuse me, and Koi Ogawa. Ogawa, a name we have not seen tonight, but definitely been a dangerous player in the past for the Outlaws.
Yeah, and it's kind of shows the squad strength that I was talking about Adam with in the first half. Is
Exciting.
yeah, they like JD was saying, some of these players coming on have started a few of the home matches for the Outlaws, been big impact players, and I honestly think it might just be a double change up top. Let the two new attackers run at this Blizzard defense. The Outlaws probably have a deeper bench than them tonight, and it's exactly that. It looks like Naito and Ogawa going up top. Trying to change the line, lead the line obviously a little bit differently. And then number 17, Shion Inagaki coming in. It looks like he'll come in the midfield here. Won't get who's off on the far side there. So yeah, pretty much a change kind of in the front three attacking areas of the field. It looks like Mapome went off. We're struggling to find the game a bit as it went on. Looks like he put a lot in. Looks pretty fatigued there on the far side. So yeah, three fresh legs in, two up top to lead the line. Maybe bring some more energy into the midfield that pays off right away with this takeover.
I'm excited, Alex. We're already seeing the fresh legs really making a high impact for the Outlaws here.
Inagaki, fantastic play. Can he make it pay?
Just wide.
You can tell
On
by
the
his
right
reaction. He
side.
thought he should have done better there.
Yeah, you could tell, Alex.
No, and definitely I would say an aggressive change from Coach Trent, trying to put the nail in the coffin, bringing on Naito and Ogawa up top, two very talented, good finishing players. Maybe makes you think that was a plan all along with having 3-4 quality striker options here in the team currently this late in the year that could maybe make the difference here with hopefully a playoff victory tonight and some more to come on Saturday.
Yes. As I mentioned earlier, Koki Ogawa, sort of a dangerous man we've had throughout the season for the Outlaws. It was kind of weird to see him not start tonight's match. I thought that was a little strange, but seeing him jump on here on the 58th minute of tonight's game is going to be hopefully a decision that really favors the Outlaws, maybe giving them kind of sealing the deal on that third goal for them tonight.
Yeah, and as of a few minutes ago, we do have an update from the other game. Dakota Fusion have equalized, so that score is 1-1. So, as things stand right now, the Outlaws would be going through and would be hosting that game, and you still need to get a winner out of that game as well. But it's still very early in Duluth. Um, just about midway through the first half, I would imagine now, since it's been a few minutes ago since we were able to check. But that game has gone 1-1, and those two teams played some pretty competitive games this season as well, JD. So it's something you're not terribly surprised to see out of Dakota and Duluth,
And it's going to make the
as the Outlaws seem to be creating some more space now, which is what they want to do. Is once again those fresh legs looking to get in.
Inagaki. Inagaki up here, top the corner, left side. Short pass. Beautiful cross. Can he touch? No, we cannot here. But once again, Ikegami gets it. But the ref decides to hand it over to the Blizzard off of
Yeah, and it's something like we said in the first half. You got one goal lead. The Outlaws have all the momentum. You have to put a team like the Blizzard away. You can't let them hang around a little bit. Um, and obviously, stay in the game here for those moments.
definitely not Alex. You just can't switch it off. You can't get complacent in a match like today. I mean, as we saw earlier, the Blizzard were able to capitalize on a simple mistake from the Outlaws and turn that mistake into a goal. So something you definitely don't want to see in the second half here as we enter the 60th minute and looking
Yeah,
to
and
reset in the back line.
And right on cue, like we said, hoping to get some good luck and some goals. We have none other than Mr. Jesse Castillo up here joining us in the press box after getting
Hey,
mauled a little bit by everyone giving away some free gear, Outlaws gear, right?
yes, yes, we're excited. Everybody, it seems like the crowd is livelier than
Yeah,
before. So
some good vibes tonight, right?
yes,
Awesome.
it helps that we broke that tie, in
Yes,
the second half. So
for
hopefully
sure.
it sets the tone for us to get a few more in.
For sure. And yeah, you've been experiencing a lot of soccer this summer. Obviously, you had a little trip last week I heard of, obviously. Can you tell us a little bit about that experience, down in Dallas, Texas, I heard?
Yeah, so we had a couple of friends uh, that got together, planned it all out. We were out there for two of the World Cup games. On Tuesday we took in Norway versus Ivory Coast, and that was nice.
Very
And
good
then,
game.
you get to see the
Get to see Holland in
and
the
Holland,
Norwegian row.
yeah, score that
You gonna
game
bring
winner.
the row to Siouxland?
I that's what we were working on.
Nah,
So
okay.
we still have a lot of practice to do.
Yep.
And we need a few more people.
Yep.
But it was nice, and then we caught the game Egypt versus Australia that
Yeah.
went to extra time and PK. So got
Yeah.
to see Salah play, and
Nice.
it was a good experience. A great stadium, great
Right.
people. So
Yeah.
you got to be there,
I did
for
get
the
I
second
did
game.
get to be there, you and you got to go to the second game when you weren't gonna, so you got to experience two World Cup games. I know obviously it's a way different scale, but did you take anything from that environment that you want to see maybe back here in Siouxland with the Outlaws, even if it's the littlest thing?
Well, I think that it's just so cool to see that,
Shot there from
soccer
Spencer.
everywhere, or football or everywhere else. There's passion.
Yep.
All the fans, care about every detail, every move, every ball that's punted, every effort. So you just throughout the game, still keep that vibe, still
Yep.
keep that excitement going, because the crowd is a big part of it,
For sure.
of international soccer, World Cup soccer.
Yeah, and definitely, speaking of vibes, vibes are really good around Siouxland United FC these days, right? You've been with it from the start. I know your passion is bringing this type of soccer to Siouxland, soccer, football, whatever you want to call it. How do you feel about where Siouxland United is right now? Where do you see it going? All that fun stuff as well, because I know this has been a dream of yours forever.
Well, I think that uh, o- ownership and our staff has done a really good job of bringing a great quality of players and soccer quality to a well-deserving community, right?
Yep.
Siouxland, we work very, very hard. We're proud of being from around here. We like our soccer. Um, I just
Ooh,
sometimes I feel that we're kind of
almost a
a
pen there.
we're
Almost.
kind of a victim of Siouxland being so involved with soccer. They don't even make it out because there's so many leagues going on.
Right.
Games on a Saturday.
Right.
So
Is that why you went down to Dallas? You're like, I gotta get away and
yes,
experience a little bit and bring some things back.
yes. So I'm really hoping that uh, here, especially in the playoffs, that the fans come out, and really play a role in this. So
For
we got a
sure.
good
And
crowd today.
yeah, and me and Adam talked about this in the first half. What do you got to say about the coaching staff? I think, you know, I want to hear your thoughts on how they've done this year, how they progress the program forward. Obviously, it's a history-making year. They were undefeated at home, got the regular season conference championship as well. Team wins tonight. You're obviously hosting a conference final again for the second straight year. Another chance to build kind of on the progress.
But we still got a lot of game to
Yep.
play. But
Oh,
yeah,
yes,
we're hoping that we can score a couple more goals. But
for sure.
um, obviously,
You're thinking like a coach.
Coach Alex Trent, he's what can I say about him? He knows what he's doing. He knows his expectations.
Hmm.
He communicates very well to the team, and I think that he's done a great job bringing very good players. These guys are very responsible. They're
Yep.
well mannered. They work very hard. So and he's brought on the coaching staff.
Yep.
You
Coaching
got
staff from
Coach
kind of all
BJ,
over. Well, right. Yep.
Ruben,
Yep.
and you got Machado as well. Everyone does something a little bit
Hmm.
different. They all have their
Yeah.
different roles and strengths and stuff. So it's a really good mix. And then Kenny as
Yep.
well, our equipment manager. He's going
Hmm.
3 years with us, and he's done
Yep.
an excellent job. And here we
Speak
go,
excellent job. Here we go.
top of the.
Inagaki.
That's a goal.
Goal! We put Jesse Castillo on again, and we get a goal, folks. You're gonna
Goal.
have to. There we go.
The Sula
Yeah,
was
Inagaki there with the finish. The substitute makes an impact,
Inagaki.
and
Gol que viene.
that's just what JD and me were talking about before you came on. Coach Trent really using the strength of his squad, Jesse, and that's one thing we've noticed in the booth. He's had lots of roster turnover this year with some guys moving on. But then he's also been able to get a squad that he probably can go 15, 16 deep on any match day. And you saw him bring on these three subs, and Inagaki makes an impact with Ogawa as well. You have players who've started games, maybe changing roles. It seems like that's one of the hardest things to do as a coach, as we both know from coaching at various levels, keeping all players happy. But I think the staff has done a good job of
Yeah,
that,
I think
right?
it speaks well for the talent of
And the
players that
culture,
we bring
maybe.
in because uh and the rotation is really really good. Some of these guys um play collegiately,
Mhm.
right? So they're going back to their schools and they'll go back not worn out.
Yep.
They'll be ready
Sharp.
to hit the preseason,
Yep.
a little bit better shape.
Always a good
Uh
thing.
yes, yes. And I see that we get Yali is
Yali coming back on as.
X coming in.
Yep.
Yeah, these boys we're very proud of the work these guys have done.
For sure. And yeah, Yali's been a mainstay since year one as well. One of the OGs, you could say, of the Siouxland Outlaws.
Oh yeah, Yali. I believe that Yanni
Yep.
at the roster today is the only one that has been
Yep.
around for 3 years. So
Yep.
it's we're very proud of Yali.
For sure. Yeah. And it
Siouxland
looks
as
like four substitutions coming on as we won't keep you too long, Jesse, but we definitely enjoy you joining us today. We could sit up here and talk soccer all day, my friend. But yeah, we'll get you back on hopefully Saturday if the boys finish the job and we can continue this conversation and hopefully the Outlaws keep improving with these more fresh legs on and Coach Trent really looks to
Yeah,
push forward here.
we're excited. I hope that we can get a couple more goals in.
Yep.
I also want to take the time to thank you, JD and Adam, who are up here, game after game after game. Make sure that everything is going. Nobody really sees like the amount of time and work and notes and studying and that you have to do to get this ready. So
Yeah, you can see
thank
my
you
notes
guys.
now, but you might not be able to read them. That's a
Yeah,
crazy
no,
thing. So
it's like they're written in a different language.
yeah,
So
hey, but as long as I can read them, JD can read his. That's why JD does most of his on the phone. He doesn't ask me to write anything. So we
yeah.
know each other well in that regard. So
Guilty there with the left-footed shot. He's very skilled. I've seen him play when he was playing left back.
Mhm.
One of the other games, he kept pushing up, and he has that attacking instinct that I really like on our outside backs.
For sure. Well, yeah,
All
we
right,
we appreciate you coming up here, my
thank you so
friend.
much
Hey,
for what you guys do.
well, we'll chat
Okay,
soon after
go
the game and
Outlaws.
go Outlaws. Once again, we'd like to thank part owner Jesse Castillo coming up here. He did the best goal call probably of the year here, JD. He's going to
Coming
kick us out
after
of our job here
coming after
before
our
too long if
jobs,
he wasn't
Alex.
so busy.
Coming after our jobs, Alex. But he is right. It is great to always be up here.
Yeah, and we'll update you guys with those substitutes on, as obviously you could see me and Jesse once we get on a hot mic, we're just going to sit here and talk football all day. We bringing JD back into the fold, as you guys saw. So, JD, you want to update those on those 4 substitutions that the
Uh,
Outlaws made?
of course, Xavier Davidson, Yali Cohen, Xavier Brown, and Kodota Kurima stepping on for the Outlaws there.
Yep, and you
We
can
have
definitely see that was maybe something in the planning, though. The second the Outlaws got a 2-goal lead in the second half, Coach Trent wants to get those fresh legs in as, um, yeah, now with the Outlaws really controlling the game here, as it looks like Spencer went off, who's put in a really good shift, and, you maybe want to keep his legs fresh for obviously the upcoming game.
definitely, Alex, as we enter the hydration break, I'll give a quick shout out to Chesterman's and Powerade Hydration Heroes of the Sideline. Thank you, little guys, for sponsoring us this season.
And it is, as you can possibly hear in the background, the final countdown. If you're American football fans, you can hold up the 4 fingers for the fourth quarter. So, as we do have a little update here in the 33rd minute up in Duluth, Minnesota, the Duluth Blue Greens versus the Dakota Fusion is a 1-1 game. Um, Looks like a couple more substitutions coming in for the Blizzard as well. Number 6 and 22, JD. Who do we got up?
Got you. Nathan Celia, defender, stepping on, and that'd be Thomas Lakensoen, a forward,
Yeah, and then
stepping
we
on for
also
Blue Greens.
had when Jesse and me were on talking, we had number 4 enter the fray for the Blizzard as well. It looks like he slotted in at the midfield position. So,
Nathan Celia and Thomas Lakensoen stepping on for the Blue.
and obviously, goals change games. JD, goals at those moments, I think were very important as now the captain, Yali Cohen, comes in, wins the ball as Yali looks to be playing in the center of the park. He's played a lot of center back for the Outlaws, but I know when he came to the program 3 years ago, as Jesse said, an OG of the program. He was slotted in as a defensive mid here, so he's probably going to enjoy this cameo, I would say.
Definitely, Alex. Like we said earlier, this is definitely the position you want to see the Outlaws in, having that 2 goal advantage here as we enter the 71st minute of the second half or fourth quarter, as it feels here. Especially with a lot of the returners here, mentioned earlier, especially for me, Koki Ogawa not starting off tonight's match was kind of a big thing, but now he is on the field. And Yali Cohen, definitely one of those players, one of the OGs, just to take it from Jesse, is somebody who I thought I would see a lot earlier tonight's match, but, you love to see him on the field either way.
For sure. And a little tactical tweak, you got Xavier Davidson slotting in at right back. Xavier's typically like a center back. So game time and score, kind of managing the game in the moment right now. He might be a little bit more defensive, but definitely has the athleticism to do it out there on the right side. And I know when I played center back and they're like, go play right back or left back, you get a little bit more freedom. Obviously, you got to be smart with where we are in the game in the moment. But yeah, just getting more fresh legs in. It looks like Brown's been able to find the ball here a lot for the Outlaws, and the Outlaws are in massive control right now. They're dictating tempo, and the Blizzard just seem to be chasing shadows right now. And look to the Outlaws as I stand corrected. There's a great tackle from the Blizzard, but going straight direct there, and the ball's out of touch. And yeah, it just looks like the Outlaws are really being able to dictate the tempo. Obviously, dictate the way they want the match to be played right now. JD.
Definitely, Alex. Which is something you love to see, at least especially us up here in the box here. Quick thank you to Reset Properties, creating space for champions to live. Verde Outdoors, where green spaces meet outlaw energy, and Great Western Rentals, your go-to for everything event. Thank you to those guys for sponsoring us this season and enabling us to do everything we do up here on the box, on the field, for the fans and on the field, as we have an opportunity up here, a shot on goal, and it is
Great finish.
incredible finish, top of the box there from let's see if I can get a
That
number here.
man again, Inagaki.
Inagaki.
2 goals off the bench today, JD. Cheyenne Inagaki making a
Inagaki with a goal for your Outlaws.
And as I was saying there, sorry, I cut out a little bit. It's great to see a player come off the bench and make that big of an impact with 2 goals as Outlaws look and appear to be headed to a Saturday home conference championship game, much like last year.
It's exciting, folks. It's so exciting here.
So exciting. JD's getting his little dance on right now
When
as
you got, when you have Adam Dean on the mic, I mean, on the DJing, he makes
yes.
great songs.
Yeah, maybe if you got a birthday party, something coming up, maybe you can contact Siouxland United, see if Adam wants to come run a soundboard at your party. Maybe get that partnership going as well, since Adam does a bunch of those great things behind the scene to make days like this possible. JD,
Definitely, Alex. Quick thank you to all those people behind the
tough
scenes.
tackle right there. Is
Incredible.
This is something you have to be careful though of the Outlaws. In a situation like the Blizzard are. Your season's winding down. You might see some tougher tackles like that coming in. As looks like Brown appears to be okay, shaken up though a little bit. You would probably about 98% of me think he might go back and give the yellow card as well, as he's looking over to the fourth official, maybe to get confirmation on that, or the substitute as Ogawa strays a little bit offside. As he is going back to give the yellow card right now.
Looks like Dylan Bowe going to be stepping on here for the
Yep.
Blizzard.
Yeah,
And
referee does a good job keeping track of that, and then obviously conferring with his assistant. It appears is
Ethan Snyder.
Yep.
Getting that yellow card.
Snyder's number 4 with the yellow card. Correct, JD, is number 15's coming on, and who do we got now? Looks like a change at the back is waiting for number 14 to step off on the far side. DeGrotto, who's had a decent game at the back, I think, for the Blizzard. But at this point, you got to make some changes. It's 4-1. You got to go for it. It's a playoff game. 4-1 isn't any different than 6-1. You got to find a way back into it. And, maybe these changes will try and get the Blizzard further up the pitch, but it would be foul right there. So maybe this is the chances the Blizzard need to get back into the game. As Sasaki just goes in a little bit from behind there, JD.
Yeah, Alex. It's definitely the time you want to see some changes in both momentum if you're a fan of the Blizzard here as we enter the 76th minute of tonight's match in the fourth quarter. Has potentially a slightly threatening opportunity here for the Blizzard
Yeah, if they
as
can
he
get
shoots
some
into
good
the sun.
service here. Davidson does fantastic, and that's something else you get with bringing him on, another taller player, kind of to deal with those, the direct play the Blizzard's going to do. Obviously, the set pieces as well. He gives the Outlaws a little bit more strength in that, so probably a really good call from the coaching staff to make that move as well.
Definitely,
And a
Alex.
player who's played a lot for the Outlaws over the last couple seasons too, the Jamaican defender.
A little bit of tapping and turning here from the Blizzard. Kind of cut through,
Fantastic play there.
beautifully cut through there.
Is Zix had a decent day up top for the Blizzard, I must say. He's been able to get on the end of a couple things, create some dangerous chances as well. He hasn't had much support there in those attacking areas too, JD, but pretty good game from him despite the scoreline for the Blizzard.
I'd have to agree with you there, Alex. As Outlaws able to manage that sort of defense here beautifully and brilliantly in the back line, but the Blizzard has been able to kind of punch through those holes, those small holes here as we end up with Cohen. Cohen up here, short pass, right. And we are dancing with Brown. Brown back to Cohen. Cohen cuts it back to Sasaki, excuse me. Right side cuts.
Ogawa looking to get the flick on. A little bit late there from the Outlaws. Got to be careful as well to not pick up any unnecessary bookings on our end as well.
Definitely not there as Cheyenne Inagaki.
As Inagaki's been everywhere. He's like, I got 2 goals. Let's maybe get some fouls in here.
Uh, a hat trick would be nice for Inagaki tonight. What a way to end off tonight's semifinal match.
Well, and as I was saying, and I've said in a lot of games this year, substitutes come on, you want to make an impact. And like me and Jesse were talking about, I think that's a credit to the coaching staff. They've had players changing roles, whether they're starting, coming off the bench, always trying to make an impact. As speaking of the impact here, the Blizzard played dangerous balls. That's great defending from Sasaki, as it looked like 2 Blizzard players were open in the box there. Trying to change the game as well, JD, is corner kick for the Blizzard.
Thank you to Great Western Rentals, your go-to for everything event. La Pierda Mar Bar and Grill, where victory tastes like tacos. Big picture entertainment, big screen, big vibes, and big wins. And Hamilton Touchless Car Wash, keeping the team's ride shining. Like those guys for sponsoring. Deep post there.
Davidson again. Called that one.
Davidson, as you mentioned, Alex, kind of being a key A key addition here, as we give a quick thank you to Donna's Loncheria Food Truck, bringing flavor to every corner of the pitch, and Aiden Alvarado with our host families, the heart and home behind our club. Thank you to those guys for sponsoring us this season, and thank you for tuning in with us and listening to me and Alex ramble about soccer all
Yeah.
season.
Yeah, like I said, people might have just been having a World Cup withdrawals, JD. So
You know, gotta get your fix wherever you can.
yes, exactly. So yeah, and the beautiful thing about the Outlaws potentially hosting a game Saturday is, you have a couple World Cup games to lead into it as well, and looks like the Outlaws game would be sandwiched perfectly in between two other World Cup games as well, with Norway and England playing in that quarterfinal at 4,
Let's go
Siouxland
Holland.
United game at 6, and then Argentina, Switzerland, and Messi in prime time. So plenty more opportunities for hopefully a triple header this soccer Saturday between Siouxland and the World Cup, JD.
It would be quite the Saturday, folks. It's really balancing out this past weekend with the three host nations being knocked out of the cup here as Sam Keisher steps on. Sam Keisher. Sam Keisher. Sam Kesher. Something.
And luckily the weather has held off all night tonight, JD, and we've actually had some beautiful weather tonight, like we talked about. Like we said, it's kind of gloomy, doomy. Obviously, a little bit before kickoff. Looking at owner Adam Dean was using his fancy weather app to make sure we were able to get the game in, and no issues tonight.
It is great, Alex, to see because when I was rolling up here about an hour before the game, it was starting to rain a little bit of lightning, but like you said, cleared up pretty cleanly and safely, which is great for us as fans and for all the fans in the stands because that means we could enjoy some great outlaw soccer here.
Great defending there from Abdul and Cohen. Kind of bodied out the Blizzard player.
As we enter the 81st minute, so about 9 minutes left plus stoppage time here in the second half. Wrapping up the fourth quarter should be pretty interesting to see the Outlaws kind of try to just at this point really maintain that
Yeah,
3 point goal difference.
definitely got to manage the game. One of those classic situations. Just see it out. Don't do anything crazy. Move on to the next round type of thing. Don't get booked. Don't get any silly injuries. All that stuff as well as Blizzard shield the ball out here for a pretty easy call for a Blizzard throw. Looks like number 18 Locker will take it. Kind of a beautiful picture here in the background, JD. You could see with the storm clouds in the distance and obviously blue skies and sunshine here over Bishop Hela Memorial Field.
Classic summer night, folks, in the start
And,
of July.
and obviously, I would say clear your schedule Saturday night. JD is the way it's looking now. Don't want to jinx anything, but you know, um, yeah, obviously clear it out, and hopefully more people in Siouxland could clear their schedules out and come partake in the game.
It'll definitely be an interesting final match here. As Alex said, we do not want to place the commentator's curse here on the Outlaws as we have seen it before on every level. I think one of my favorite times was this year for
For
Germany.
for sure. And even if the Outlaws do hold on, it will be very competitive game. Duluth and Dakota in the 2-3 game have been two of the teams that have really pushed the Outlaws probably more than anyone else in the division. With both being very competitive with them. I believe the Fusion got a draw versus the Outlaws earlier this year, and then the Outlaws won the return game off of that. But then, yeah, like we were saying against the Duluth Blue Greens, both games were both draws, both away and home. Not many goals in either of those matchups as well. So it could set up a potentially interesting matchup this Saturday night um, here at our home field. So stay tuned on that. And at last check, creeping towards halftime, it was still 1-1 in that game as well. Most Outlaw fans would maybe want that to go extras and PKs to obviously put some more strain on the legs of whoever the Outlaws would host here Saturday night, JD.
Hopefully, Alex, as Blizzard send it way up the pitch here, but it's going to be right in the end of the feet of looking like, excuse me, it'd be hands of Andre Ferreira. A little bit of a sort of
Yeah.
relaxed play here up top as we get Abdallah. Abdallah over to Brown. Brown calling out some short passes here, able to maintain it beautifully with Cohen. Cohen seeming to like his new position there, seeming to fit in quite smooth. As we get Kurima, opportunity.
Koti. Nothing in that, I don't think. He tried to put the referee under a little bit of pressure there. Definitely was some pulling, but referee, like we said, has a much better view than us, JD.
Yeah, Alex.
See Outlaws just managing the game here, just cycling the ball through Cohen a lot, just kind of switching the point of attack, and obviously just kind of moving the Blizzard around.
But like we said, Alex, as we entered the 84th minute, so about 6 minutes plus stoppage, that's kind of what you want the Outlaws to do. Like you mentioned earlier, you don't want to see any sort of mistakes, just kind of play it safe.
Fantastic ball there from Davidson to find Koti. Good ball back post. Can the Outlaws get on the end of it? They cannot. Because, the Outlaws are doing a fantastic job just to see out this game. It was tied at halftime, got the goals, pushed forward a little bit, and then obviously, really, really just kind of killing the game here with making the ball do the work, JD.
Definitely, Alex. Opportunity, top of the box, and referee
Don't know what that call
decides
was.
yeah, that was
If anything, it looked like Ogawa fell down, and
all of us up here in the box are confused.
yeah, like I say all the time, obviously we're a little bit biased, but when Ogawa looked more confused than we did, I think it was a little bit justified. Maybe the referee just wants to get home, get out of here. Not have much stoppage time.
I'm sure he wants to. I'm sure he wants to enjoy this beautiful summer night as a pretty clear push, I would say.
Yeah. Blizzard players a bit bewildered, which bewilders me.
Yeah. Audience here making some noise for their Outlaws. Something you'd love to see here as we get Brown left side, feeling a bit of pressure, but not too much. Gives it up to Abdallah. Abdallah. Nice little change. Gets it back to Brown. Brown by himself. Gets two man. Decides Abdallah's the man. He wants to just cycle it back to 86 minutes, so about 4 minutes plus stoppage time, and just kind of really chilling in the back line here as Abdallah changes the angle of attack. Up the right side now with Davidson. Davidson passing it back and forth here. Back to Sasaki. Sasaki manages to cut it across the left side, back with Brown. Brown feeling a bit of pressure, but not too much here. Decides to give it back to Abdallah. Abdallah cuts it across over to Davidson. Davidson finding a man, decides to get a little bit of a messy touch there, but so far good with Inagaki. Inagaki to Cohen. Cohen back to Davidson. Davidson get slowly inching their way up the right side here, Outlaws, as we get a press in the middle. Opportunity, but just a misplaced touch there at top of the box. Brown takes a shot.
Yeah, can't fault him for taking a chance there. The Blizzard were defending so deep, JD.
Definitely not. But 3 minutes to go plus stoppage time here.
Yeah, as this game winds down a little bit, JD, and you got to say though, all the subs will just continue to put the pressure on the Blizzard. I think coaching staff made the subs at the right time. Some good adjustments at halftime by Siouxland United. The first half, last 10 minutes for the Outlaws left a lot to be desired, but definitely the second half they've pretty much controlled it start to finish. What you would expect the regular season champs of the NPSL North Conference to do. So fair credit, they used the squad and, hopefully you have some fresh legs heading into a big match this Saturday night.
Definitely, Alex. It's exciting to see. Should be a great match here. Feel free to join us here at Bishop Helaman Memorial Field in the Siouxland area. And if you are not able to join us here live, which is quite a tragedy, don't worry, you can still join us, as I'm sure me and Alex will be up here in the box, cooling with the AC.
Probably try and join live. It's a much better experience than probably listening to me and JD some days.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure, folks. Plus, you might get some free stuff from Jesse Castillo.
Yes, you can tell him we sent you. We sent you to him.
Yes, I'm sure he'll love that. I'm sure.
Just
we'll
name
get a
drop
million
Alex and
texts.
JD that Jesse will give you something if you show up.
I'm sure he would. As Abdallah. Abdallah takes his sweet time here, really just looking to
This
kill the
is this
clock
is
here.
this is the definition of killing the game off, JD.
Definitely, it's a slow, just a slow strangle.
But as a coach, this is what you want. Manage the game, don't do anything crazy. Change pace when you go forward here and maybe get one while you can. A smart little play there to let the ball run out there from Coty. Little things like that go a long ways to seeing out results.
Should be exciting here. As we enter the 89th minute, so pretty much about to jump into stoppage time. Uh, we'd like to once again remind you that if the Outlaws take the win tonight, we will once again be hosting the final game here at Bishop Hill Memorial Field between Outlaws and whoever wins between the Blue Greens. And
Yeah, and
as
your update right now at halftime, it is 1-1, Duluth and Dakota. So stay tuned to social media pages, obviously Instagram and Facebook, that stay updated all the time. Be sure to follow Siouxland United FC with a moment. You will not miss a moment, pretty much, JD, is what I was trying to say. Social media manager, she does her best to get every single goal of the Outlaws season, and when we have our opponent, if we see out the stoppage time here, we'll be able to post that and obviously everything. It'll be either the Duluth Blue Greens or Dakota Fusion as we have a late corner kick here for the Outlaws to defend after that deflection, JD.
which means we got to give a quick thank you to Remax Experience, our premier team partner, delivering championship service on and off the pitch. Ho Chunk Capital, investing in stronger Siouxland and stronger Outlaws. The Northway Junior YMCA, proud to keep our players in top shape on the field and in the gym. And Thrive Health, the recovery team behind every comeback. Thank you to
Dangerous
those
bouncing
guys for
ball there, and
sponsoring us this season.
Davidson again gets another header as the ball goes out of touch. So hopefully
And
someone bet the overs on Davidson getting at least 3 or 4 headers on clearances after he came on today.
I'm sure you can bet. I'm sure you could bet on that. As we officially enter stoppage time here at Bishop Hill Memorial Field. So, Alex, as we pretty much end, maybe pretty much towards the end here of the match, any closing thoughts?
No, I mean it was, what you expect from a playoff game. There's going to be tense moments. Every team's in the playoffs for a reason, and you gotta play who's in front of you. As another bewildering call there is definitely looked like chess from up here, but I'm not the one with the whistle today. So yeah, it's something where I think you're gonna have those moments where you have to obviously deal with some tough moments in the playoffs, make some adjustments, make some moves where we're as a coaching staff, you got to reevaluate. But the Outlaws suffered there for probably about 10 minutes in the 1-1 game. They saw it out, came out after halftime, made some really big adjustments. And obviously that's something where, we we just took control of the game. So no, I mean it was a pretty routine second half, but a great response for the Outlaws. Just to take control against the Blizzard, a little bit fortunate with the deflection off the goalkeeper's back to get the one goal for Ogawa, I believe it was. But you kind of create your own luck. If you create the dangerous chances, put the ball in that area, JD, stuff like that happens. So
Absolutely, Alex. I agree with you there. That first half, definitely seeing that first goal by the Outlaws was really electrifying. But honestly, kind of a buzzkill coming from that simple mistake by the Outlaws that led to the Blizzard here getting their first goal of the night. But like you said, the second half of the match starting off really with a bang, high speed, but
it's been really
thankfully,
nice and routine. Looked like Siouxland United Outlaws football.
yeah, exactly. Outlaws able to recollect on the second half, really get that synergy going and put the ball in the back of the net, which is something you love to see here, especially in the semifinals.
Yep, and
As Brown up the left side here, as you said, Alex. But it's also great to see the audience come together, the community come together, and you to come join us here on tonight's live stream.
for
As
sure.
I'm sure we enter what is probably the last attack of the night.
And even if Jesse can't read my handwriting, as long as I can, right?
Definitely, I can read my handwriting, and writing stuff on notes on my phone does help.
Looks like
Editing on the
Yali's
fly.
down a little bit, which is not a good sign as he has struggled with some injuries. Does look in a bit of discomfort as the referee blows the final whistle there as your Outlaws make some history, winning their first game of the playoffs after winning the regular season conference championship. As the biggest concern right now would be hoping Cohen's okay from that injury. As he does look in a little bit of discomfort, JD. But despite that, the Outlaws move on in advance, and we await the winner of the 2 or 3 game Dakota Fusion or Duluth Blue Greens. Like we said, it kind of wrapped up. The Outlaws struggled a little bit tonight during some periods, but they adjusted and did what the 1 seed had to do, JD.
Definitely, Alex. Kind of a depressing end for the Blizzards fans out here tonight. But for us Outlaws, it really is just classic Outlaws football. As the audience really goes a little wild here, enjoying that sort of thing. So, with that sort of being said, I think it's a good note to wrap it up here. We, as always, would like to thank you for joining us here at Bishop Hill Memorial Field, along with us here at the live stream. Alex and I always enjoy having you listen to us ramble here. Thank you to our incredible game day crew, volunteers, security team, and media staff. Thank you for making this event possible. We couldn't do it without you. Thank you to our officials for officiating tonight's game.
And we will see you on Saturday night, either on the stream or in person. Go Outlaws.
Outlaws.